School Football Coaches Show with Dickson County head coach Jeff Tomlinson and Dickson Post sports reporter Casey Patrick. The Dickson County Football Coaches Show is brought to you by Pamela Witt First Lending Solutions, where your dreams find the perfect mortgage match. Lee Canifax with Health Markets Insurance, your local Medicare specialist, voted #1 for health insurance. Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, a truly enjoyable car buying experience, voted the #1 auto dealership in Dickson County. Tim Sutherland with Rolling Hills Realty, where trust meets expertise, navigating the real estate market with confidence and unlocking your home dream. Preston Thompson's Carpet Shop, for all your flooring and paint needs since 1970, voted #1 in Dickson County. And the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now, here are Coach Jeff Tomlinson and Casey Patrick.
Hello and welcome to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show. My name's Casey Patrick. I'm here with Coach Jeff Tomlinson today.
Morning, fellas.
We're going to have a good week to talk about after a 37-6 win over
That is
Northeast.
correct. Yes, that is correct.
I just want to go ahead and start, Coach. I want to ask you, 30-0 at half. That had to be really rewarding as a coach to see those guys have that first half that you knew they could have. Right?
Yeah, right. We played well in the first half. We actually, we should have been 35. We fumbled on the 2-yard line going in. It's right before the half that ended up turning into a safety on the next play on defense. But played really well first half. Executed well for the most part. Controlled the football game like we should have, and it was fun to see.
Well, and I know I had asked you after the game for a few quotes and stuff, and you had told me that I think Redmond had a few touchdowns and Wyatt Grambling had a few touchdowns.
Yeah, Malachi ended up scoring 3 times, and Wyatt had 2 touchdowns. So,
well, and I mean that sounds like your run game at least was really productive and efficient, right?
Yeah, it was. We didn't really need the passing game. Not that we didn't throw it a few times, but it was one of those situations where we were a lot bigger and stronger than they were up front, and we could control the line of scrimmage. So we just run the football and took advantage of what they were giving us, and we just played well in the running game.
Okay, now that was one thing I did want to bring up was the air attack. Apparently you didn't have to throw it much. Did the rain play into that very much?
Not really, because it was already 30-0 at the half, and it didn't start raining on us until halftime. So
okay.
The second half was when we spent the most of the time in the rain. So at that point we're getting other players in the game and trying to get some people some reps and some practice in real games, live situations, and just working on depth at that point. So not really on the passing part of it.
Okay, now as far as for the paper, I had done a little prediction, and I was pretty close on what I thought would happen.
I saw that.
But I will say, whenever you do get up on a big lead like that, and you do get an opportunity to get some other guys in the game, how rewarding is that for you to see those guys that deserve the opportunity?
Right, yeah, that's just it. I'm not a guy that likes to really run the score up. If we get a comfortable lead and we know the game's in hand, we're going to start building depth and start adding, getting players some minutes in the game so they are accustomed to playing on a Friday night game. That way, whenever it is their turn to be that guy, they've already got some of that nerves out of the way and different things like that because they've been in situations before.
Well, and is that something new that your team kind of has to learn how to work its way around?
Oh, absolutely, because we didn't do very well in finishing that game. I didn't think. It was pretty sloppy. Now, I guess the rain had a little bit to do with that, but the second half wasn't pretty to me by any means. Not that we were, not successful in a lot of ways, but we didn't finish the way I would like to have finished. That I think it has just come with learning how to finish games because we hadn't been in that situation very much.
Well, and again, I know I keep bringing this up, but as a coach, I mean, it's rewarding. Even if they don't finish the way you want them to, it's still great to see them in that situation, though, right? Because it's been a long time since they've been able to do
absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay. I do want to get to that second half, but I don't want to do that just yet. I wanted to ask you a few more questions about that running game. I know that Redmond and Grambling were the 2 names that I had brought up, but who are some other guys that got a few carries or did well up front to help you?
Yeah, Frazier carried the ball a few times. We didn't use him as much this week as we did the previous week against Columbia. But he carried a very few good hard runs up the middle and was able to move the chains a few times there. Tristan Brown actually got a few totes for the first time in a meaningful reps there, and he looked well in a couple of runs. Isaiah Daniel played well at the fullback spot and had some good tough runs for us as well. Up front, they really controlled the line of scrimmage. All 5 of those guys were making calls, and they did a good job of reestablishing the line of scrimmage 2 yards back into the Northeast's defense.
Well, and I know that you said bigger and stronger up front. That's obviously an advantage, but how much of your offensive line's improvement or play last week was because of how much they had improved through the season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've not only did they improve from last season through the preseason into the summer, but these last 3 games being able to play together and gel together over the 3-game period, you can see improvement in them from week to week, and they're getting better and better, and that's exciting.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to take our first break, so make sure y'all don't go anywhere. We're going to be right here. Make sure to come back and check out. We're going to talk about the second half. We did have a few issues, so we're going to bring that up. We're going to figure out what we need to work on, so y'all make sure and come right back.
Nothing updates your home like new flooring, and we have it all. Carpet, LVP, wood, vinyl, and tile, along with professional installation, warranties, and friendly advice. Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 flooring store in Dickson County.
Looking for a mortgage loan? Look no further than First Lending Solutions. We make getting a mortgage easy, with no hidden fees and no surprises. We work for you, not the bank, so you can trust us to have your best interests at heart. Get pre-approved in minutes and enjoy a seamless, stress-free experience. Apply online or call us today.
Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, voted #1 auto dealer in Dickson County, a truly enjoyable car buying experience. Friendly customer service and a great selection of vehicles. Visit us today.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
If your paint project calls for bold and vibrant neutrals or soft pastels, Benjamin Moore has the design-inspired colors you've been looking for in a full line of durable, long-lasting paints. And they're all here at Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 paint store in Dickson County.
Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, a truly enjoyable car buying experience. Come see why we were voted #1 auto dealer in Dickson County. Visit stevejonesauto.com.
Welcome back to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show. I'm Casey Patrick here with Coach Jeff Tomlinson. And, we talked about the first half, and I know that it was pretty good for you and you liked it. But the second half, you said it did bring some issues, and, of course, the rain couldn't help it. But what were some of those issues, and was it stuff that you kind of expected?
No, I'm not really expected. I felt like we lost a little focus at halftime. They knew the game was in hand, but they didn't. They lost that focus, and so we start – missing some blocks, having a few run-throughs on the line of scrimmage, not being in the proper gaps defensively, and just making some little mistakes that we didn't make in the first half simply because we wasn't as focused and locked in as we needed to be.
And now, do you think some of those mistakes might be just you've got some other guys in, or was it
part of it? That's definitely part of it. There's a reason why there's starters and then there's backups, mm-hmm. and you want those backups to get meaningful reps and learn on the fly in games, so you can rely on them, especially down the road and in games down the road. So that was part of it, but it was some of our starters who had still getting a few minutes that was making some mistakes too. So it's just we haven't been in that situation before, and you got to learn how to win, and you got to learn how to close out games, and it's something that comes over time, and we'll get there. It's just you got to learn how to even though I got a comfortable lead, you still got to close things out, and and looked good doing it. And so in parts of that wasn't real good in the second half.
Okay, do you think that part of closing let me rephrase my question. Do you think that winning big is different than just closing out a game? Because, I mean, if you would have held on with the same type of pace, I mean, it'd have been 60-something to nothing. Do you think that that's different than just putting a game away, just to win big like that?
Yes. I mean, what should have happened and what didn't happen is we got the ball to start the second half, and we, ended up with a penalty and a couple of mistakes with run-throughs and things like that, where we ended up having a punt, where we should have, like we did in the first half, we should have driven down the field. We did have a few backups in, but we should have still driven down the field, punched that one in the end zone, went up 37-0, and then the game, and then we could have emptied the benches and everybody would have got playing time, and everybody, the game could have been sealed and over, and then I would have been happy if we could have finished it out like that, but it just didn't work out. We ended up having Malachi had a big long run, 58-yard touchdown run called back on a silly penalty, and then he had another run called back. It was 19 or so yards that got called back that we had a holding penalty, and those things just tarnished the what so good it was, how it looked so good in the first half. Things like that, little silly mistakes like that, really tarnished it. For us.
Yeah, and I'm sure that it kind of kills the mood, doesn't it? I mean, when you're really just beating up on somebody and then something stupid happens.
Well, yeah, it does. I mean, you're still happy and you're still excited about what you did in the second half or the first half, but that second half it'd have really been nicer if we could have just punched that one in right at the start of the second half, and then and just coasted with the rest of everybody having fun and getting to play in the game. Whereas we got some guys in, but we didn't get as many in as we wanted. For example, I wanted DeMarcus Strickland to get the fourth quarter and let him be the quarterback the whole fourth quarter, and it didn't turn out that way. I needed him some varsity reps so he can experience a varsity game, and it's coming, and he'll be able to eventually. But he just missed out because we didn't close out like we should have in the third quarter.
All righty. Well, as far as the second half goes, I did want to ask you, defensively, it seems like Northeast finally got on the board with something, but I know most of the time we've been talking about offense. Defensively, how strong of an effort did you see from your guys in the first half, and how did that translate to the second?
Defense didn't slow down. They played well in both halves. They, I think they had negative yards rushing for the game and only like 20-something yards passing. So the defense played great. They scored on a punt return, where we had the guy and had him wrapped up, and he broke a couple of tackles and took it to the end zone, which should have never happened either, but, it did in that situation. So they scored on a punt return, and like I said, defense, I don't know that they got a first down.
Okay. Well, and I know that all these games have kind of a game plan or a blueprint that you want them to go to. And you told me last week that Northeast definitely has some athletes that if they get in open space, they can make stuff happen. How close did this game go to that blueprint that you really kind of imagined?
I was really happy defensively how we executed, because what they do with a lot of misdirection and what they, the backs that they have, you can't chase the ball. If you chase the ball, you're going to be wrong majority of the time. So you have to really read your keys. The linebackers have to read guards. The secondary has to make sure they're reading the man on the line of scrimmage, and not try to chase a football, because the backs are moving in a lot of different directions, a lot of misdirection. And they did a very good job of staying locked in, staying zoned in on their keys, reading those guards and letting those guards take them to the football. We did do a little we changed our coverage a little bit a few times, so mixed up coverages, try to keep them confused. And that allowed us to be able to rally to the ball and really swarm and box in those speedy guys when they tried to get to the edge.
Okay. And I have one more question about this second half before we move on. I know that, and I had one question and then it jumped right out of my head. But I did want to ask you, as far as that second half, here it is, those guys that made the few mistakes, and do you see the want to from them to fix the mistakes that they're making?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, most of the time, a couple of those offensive mistakes was, guys that normally don't make those mistakes. They were just lackadaisical because they knew the game was in hand, and they can't do that. We got to stay locked in all the time. If you're on the field, you're putting other people in jeopardy if you're not blocking somebody or you miss an assignment. you're leaving one of your teammates out to dry, and we don't want to do that. So, you got to stay zoned in and locked in. A few, I think one of the mistakes that we made, none of them were effort mistakes. I mean, that was not like they were just being lazy. They don't, that's not the way they were making mistakes. It was just being unfocused and not understanding or having my head up and seeing a backer that's blitzing or slanting when I'm supposed to be angling on defense and I lose my gap integrity. And so it wasn't effort mistakes at all. It was just lack of focus mistakes.
All righty. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to our next break. Make sure y'all don't go anywhere. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about we're going to talk a little bit more about the team. I'm going to ask him a few other questions that I want to know, and then we're going to preview Gallatin coming up later. So make sure y'all don't go anywhere.
If you're looking to buy or sell in Dickson County, Tennessee, call Tim Southerland at Rolling Hills Realty. As a seasoned realtor, Tim knows how to get you the best price for your home. Selling your home is one of the biggest decisions you'll make, so trust the expert. Call Tim Southerland today at 615-720-1568 or visit rollinghillsrealtydixon.com.
Looking for a mortgage loan? Look no further than First Lending Solutions. We make getting a mortgage easy with no hidden fees and no surprises. We work for you, not the bank, so you can trust us to have your best interests at heart. Get pre-approved in minutes and enjoy a seamless, stress-free experience. Apply online or call us today.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try.
There aren't any cops around.
I didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay?
Welcome back to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show. I'm Casey Patrick. This is Coach Jeff Tomlinson. So one thing I had texted you Friday night or Saturday morning, whenever it was I reached out, is this team starting to turn a corner? And I know that you answered it then, but I wanted to ask you in person. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of ways we're starting to build confidence in ourselves and in our abilities. And when we walk on the field now, we expect to be successful. Whereas before we wasn't really expecting that. We were just hoping not to be defeated. And now they walk out there with a little bit of confidence, and they are expecting to have success. And that's the first part of really turning the corner, is whenever you have confidence in yourself and in your ability, and you can tell that you're going to win football games, and you go out there with the purpose of winning a football game and not just hoping not to lose. And we're starting to see that. We got a couple tough games in Gallatin, including this week, that's really going to test and see where we are with that. But yeah, we're turning that corner just because you can tell it in the way that the team and the players are carrying themselves.
Okay, awesome. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you is, of course, Saturdays in the fall, they're usually reserved for college football. Do you consider yourself a fan? And if so, is there a certain team you like?
I mean, obviously, I'm a Tennessee guy, and I like the Vols, but I'm not overboard, like head over heels, bleed orange. Got to do whatever to. I'm not like that. I'm just a college football fan. I can watch any game. It doesn't matter if it's a D3 team's playing or if it's that West Coast night game at 9:30. It doesn't matter what's on. I can watch it.
Well, and the reason why I wanted to ask you is, as a coach, I'm sure you keep your eyes peeled on all the things that are happening, and you've got a better idea of what's happening than most people. Is there anything that you pick up from these games that you try to implement?
Every now and then. I mean, not their schemes are different than our schemes, and of course it's a different level, and they have different. But yeah, every now and then you can pick up something and go, you know what, that's pretty good. We need to, how can we mold that to fit what we're trying to do? And that's definitely happened. When back in the day when Georgia Tech was really running the Flexbone and with Paul Johnson, I'd record every one of those games, and I'd watch them and rewind and watch and rewind all of those games just to see if we could pick something up that they were doing that we could help us do. But, yeah, every now and then you can. I tell you, though, I do not like watching football games in a big group of people. I can't do it. Because I'm watching it, I guess, differently. I don't know.
You're watching the X's and O's.
Yeah, and I can't, like a Super Bowl, big Super Bowl bash. I can't do it. I got to watch it at home by myself.
Well, see, so I'm guessing everybody else is more worried about, cheese dip or drinking a beer or something, and you're over here, you're trying to figure out what the key is and figure out where the safety's going.
Why did he get so wide open? What did the safety do right there? What concept was it? But, yeah.
Well, and I don't know what it was about it, but Saturday I am one of those kind of over-the-top Tennessee fans. And I was sitting there watching the game, and it just popped in my head. I was like, I think I'd asked another high school coach once before. I'd asked them if they ever try to pick up things. But I wanted to ask you on the show, and, of course, I'll probably do it Wednesday as well, but I wanted to ask you on the show, if there were things that you picked up, is there anything that comes to mind, something that you've picked up from a college football team or a game? Other than the Paul Johnson.
Obviously not this year. But yeah, Paul Johnson, of course, was always something. But there was one time, and I can't remember. It might have been Miami, Ohio.
Okay.
And they were doing this thing with offensively where, and again, this was a couple of years ago, but they were inserting a slot, like he was inserting inside from his outside position, folding up underneath, and it was running a little blast play with their tailback, but they were also reading it. So the quarterback had to read the pull or not. And so when they folded that back up inside, if the guy followed him, defensive guy followed him, and tried to chase down the tailback, the quarterback would pull it and run out the back door. And it was a little different than the zone read that we see today where you're reading the backside in. It was done a little different than that, and I thought, man, that's pretty neat. How they do that, and it kind of fit what we did with our midline play, because we'll fold our slot guy up inside. So I thought, man, that's something that I think that can help us. And there was another time that there was a team that was running a punt coverage that I really liked, and we implemented that right after. And I can't remember who the team was, but we implemented that the very next week, was how they were recovering, doing a punt coverage.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Because I sit here and I think about it myself. Of course, I've never coached football. I've never drawn up a play, but I always see something. Even if I'm not watching a team I like, I'll always see something. I'm like, man, I sure wish I wish the Titans or the Vols would do that.
Right. That doesn't happen often, just because, you have your scheme and you have your, I don't like just putting together a hodgepodge of stuff that don't work together, right? They have everything, all our plays feed off of one another. So, if we're running the option, then the counter comes back off of the option, because once you start overflowing so once you overplay the option, we can come back with a counter play. Every play has a counter play to it. Or a pass off of it. Like, we can throw the ball. If we see your safety creeping down too hard and trying to play the option in the alley, then we're going to take a shot over your head and throw it over that safety when he loses his, pass responsibility, because all he's focused on is getting downhill to stop the run, and we can throw over the top. So every play, all our schemes have plays off of them. So it's really hard to just throw something in unless feel like it fits your scheme.
Well, it's got to fit your personnel too, right?
Right, absolutely.
Okay. All righty. Well, that's going to be it for that. I'm going to find some more college questions, because I think that was pretty cool. I'm going to think of some more stuff to ask for that. But we're going to go to our last break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about Gallatin for just a minute, because, like you said, that is a pretty big matchup. And I think that's going to show a lot about your team. Of course, you said that.
Yeah,
We'll figure that out, but make sure y'all come right back. We're going to talk about Gallatin.
Nothing updates your home like new flooring, and we have it all. Carpet, LVP, wood, vinyl, and tile, along with professional installation, warranties, and friendly advice. Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 flooring store in Dickson County.
Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, voted #1 auto dealer in Dickson County, a truly enjoyable car buying experience, friendly customer service, and a great selection of vehicles. Visit us today.
If you're looking to buy or sell in Dickson County, Tennessee, call Tim Sutherland at Rolling Hills Realty. As a seasoned realtor, Tim knows how to get you the best price for your home. Selling your home is one of the biggest decisions you'll make, so trust the expert. Call Tim Sutherland today at 615-720-1568 or visit rollinghillsrealtydixon.com.
Watch it! Did that guy even see that girl on her bike?
Just like looking for other cars before switching lanes, drivers should keep their eyes out for those traveling on bikes. When a crash occurs between a vehicle and a bike, it's the cyclist who is most likely to be injured. Give cyclists room and do not pass too closely. Riders have the same rights and responsibilities as those behind the wheel.
Be aware, be alert. Brought to you by THSO, the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, a truly enjoyable car buying experience. Come see why we were voted #1 auto dealer in Dickson County. Visit stevejonesauto.com.
If your paint project calls for bold and vibrant neutrals or soft pastels, Benjamin Moore has the design-inspired colors you've been looking for in a full line of durable, long-lasting paints. And they're all here at Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 paint store in Dickson County.
Welcome back to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show. I'm Casey Patrick. This is Coach Jeff Tomlinson. And I just brought it up. You got Gallatin coming into town Friday. They've always been a good program. They're a good team. They always show up to play hard.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter who the players are. It doesn't matter who the coach is. It seems like they show up and play. What do you know about them, and what is it you need to look for?
Well, they've got like you said, they've got athletes and they're big up front. They got they're just a good, solid football team. They're nothing. They're no juggernaut, they're no great football team, but they are a very good quality football team, just like Gallatin always is. Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, they got some big guys up front. They got a running back he looks, he's a big old thick kid that runs it hard and's got good feet, and he's going to be a tough load to bring down. And they got a couple of wide receivers, and they like to run that RPO stuff on offense. And we got to be prepared for that, because if we get sucked in on that run too much, they're going to pop it behind us. And so it's a big challenge this week, especially for our defense. It's going to be fun to watch how does our defense handle this, because, defensively we've played pretty well all year, and this is going to be their biggest test of the year. And then on the offensive side, it's going to be fun to watch our offensive line. How are they going to handle Gallatin's front four? Because they're this is probably the best defense that they've seen in terms of size and strength. Creekwood's a very good defense, but they rely on their speed, their quickness. They kind of like we do. They move a lot and stun a lot. Gallatin's not going to really do that much. They're going to just play really strong football, and we see how we handle that.
Okay, well, I know, like, with a team against Northeast, a little bit smaller team that you can push around, it's more about you and how your team executes.
Right.
When it comes to playing against Gallatin, of course, honestly, obviously, it's not so much about execution, but you kind of need them to mess up too if they're really strong. Is it more about them or y'all?
No, I think it's more about us. I mean, we can play with a team like Gallatin. We've got the pieces of the puzzle to play with a Gallatin. I mean, I really honestly think we should go out there and win if we execute the way we're supposed to. But yeah, it's all about our mentality of reading our option reads have got to be really good. We got to be okay with getting 4 yards every play. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot and get those pre-snap penalties. I'm okay with an effort penalty every now and then. Yeah. I just don't want those pre-snap penalties that where we jump off sides or a delay a game and illegal formation, things like that. We can't have those. We've got to be able to move the chains and be happy with moving the chains. Control the ball, control the clock, not let Gallatin have the football and play with it. Us keep it in our pocket. And control the pace of the game, because they're going to want to go fast and we're going to want to go slow. and we got to win that battle. We got to win the battle of controlling the pace of the game. And if we can do that, that sets us up for success.
Well, and I've heard other coaches call it like staying ahead of the chain.
That's exactly right.
Whereas you're not stuck in third and forever. It's,
right.
It's more like third and twos or second and threes.
Yeah, staying ahead of the chain just simply means that you want to be positive on every play. So if you want to be in a second down situation where you're 6 or less, and then you want to be in a third down situation where you're 3 or less, and you feel pretty good about those situations because and when you get into that second and threes, then that really helps because now you got the whole playbook to your advantage when you're second and 3. But you still got a good set of playbook when you're second and 6. But if you're second and 12,
you ain't got much.
It tears, that destroys drives. So you got to stay ahead of the chains.
Well, and how hard is it, or is it hard at all, to keep the kids kind of patient and okay with that, taking that what you get type of mentality?
It's extremely hard. They get impatient quickly, and they want to score.
Throw the ball up.
Yeah, we got to. It might be second and 6. And we're like, okay, well, this is a really good situation right here. Let's get the ball out quick. Let's pick up a 4-yard hitch route. Get us down to 3rd and 1, maybe a first down. And they're second and 6, and we've picked up a couple first downs, and now we're trying to get that 3rd first down, and they want to chunk it deep, whenever they just should have threw right there to the quick flat route or whatever and get those extra 4 or 5 yards and give us another set of downs. That's what I always try to tell them. So look, you get to play more if you'll just get a first down. It gets you get to have 3 more downs.
Yeah.
If you do it again, then you get to have 3 more. So the more first downs you get, the more you get to play.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. And I mean, of course, I get it. The kids, sometimes they are.
They're impatient. They want to chunk it deep, and
Well, they've been playing Madden too much.
Right, and there's times, and that's what I tell them. I said there's always times and situations for that. I mean, if it's second and short, sometimes you second and 1, second and 2. Sometimes you are. You know what? Let's take a shot here, and it's okay because you're still ahead of the chains.
Absolutely.
On 3rd down. But we gotta understand that, and they sometimes get impatient with that.
All righty. Well, one more question, Coach, and then I'll let you go. I know that you said that you think y'all can win if you execute the way you should. You think these kids believe they should win on Friday?
I think they're getting there. I think more confident every week. The more they have success and the more that they play together, they see their confidence and their ability and they're more confident than they have been in the past. That's for sure. They know Gallatin's a tough situation and a tough test, but Gallatin's, they're 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, they're a good, solid program, just like Columbia, and that's who I've been comparing them to. And I think that's a very fair comparison is, they're a good, solid program, but they're not unbeatable. And I think that, if we play well, we'll play a game and you'll end up seeing a game that's 21-21 into the 4th quarter, and, then we got to finish. Maybe we're up and we got to put in a 4-minute offense, or get that 4-minute offense going where all we need to do is go out there and get a couple first downs and salt this thing away. Or maybe it's a situation where we got to go out there and put a game-winning drive together and score at the end. But, that's the fun part about playing a Gallatin is because it's a non-region game. It's preparing us for region opponents like a Clarksville High, who's going to be a really tough region opponent for us. But we get to be put in situations, Gallatin, where, maybe we got to, like I said, finish out a game by stalling it out because we already have the lead or punch one in because we're down by 2.
All righty. Well, thank you very much,
yeah,
Coach.
Yeah, thank you. This was good. I liked it.
Oh, me too. Good luck Friday. I think I might be here.
Okay.
But I did want to say congratulations again Friday night. That's a
it
big
was
win
fun.
for these kids.
It's always fun to win.
Absolutely.
No matter how it happens. So it's always fun to win. And it's going to be fun playing Gallatin this week. It's 80s week, 80s night.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Back in the day, that was the big rivalry in the 80s was
Yes,
Gallatin, Dickson County.
Yes,
and so any alumni that from the 1980 to 89 alumni, come on out, sign up at the table, get you a nice, cool T-shirt, and
there you go.
Come enjoy the game and, reminisce some old times. So.
Okay. They going to play Van Halen over the PA or anything?
There will
like
be 80s themed music for the game. Yes, that's true.
I might really be here then.
We had 70s themed, last week at the Columbia one. So this was 80s themed music, and it'll be a fun time.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Coach. Good luck, and thank y'all for watching the show. We'll be back next week. Y'all have a good evening.
Go Cougars.
You've been watching the Dickson County High School Coaches Show with Dickson County head coach Jeff Tomlinson and Dickson Post sports reporter Casey Patrick. Join us each week at this time on Main Street Media TV to get the latest on Dickson County football. The Dickson County Football Coaches Show is brought to you by Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, Lee Canifax with Health Markets Insurance, Steve Jones, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Tim Sutherland with Rolling Hills Realty, Preston Thompson's Carpet Shop, and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.